The Diary of Mark Webstone by Laudon. Chapter 1. Mark was surprised. He didn't remember feeling this enthusiastic for a long time. He could hardly wait to open the new gift he purchased for himself. He bit his lips and rubbed his fingers over the steering wheel as he drove through the Oklahoma desert. After all, this was just another computer. As a matter of fact, Mark was so excited that he couldn't recall anything. How did he get the laptop in the first place? And how did he end up getting to where he was? It seems as though he was driving endlessly. His excitement slowly declined, like air being released from a hot air balloon. He felt dumbfounded, moving his gaze from the road to the laptop and back, as if waiting for answers. There was no reply, so he turned his eyes back on the road. All he knew was that he needed that laptop, nothing else. The desert stretched before his eyes like a white, festive tablecloth. It appeared as blank as his memory. As the drive went on, Mark slowly recollected his thoughts. He was driving back home to Claymore in Oklahoma. There was nothing but an open desert ahead of him. Slowly he recalled a dark, greenish room filled with empty tables and glass windows. More and more details started to take shape in his mind. It was a small store, a pearl-colored box in the middle of the desert. He remembered that for some reason. He parked the car and entered that strange store. Then he saw it. The laptop just stood there, displayed on an almost perfectly clean turquoise table. A simple-looking laptop, rectangular with a silver sheen. Next to the laptop was a small Native American wooden figurine of a woman whose hair lined her face. But Mark's focus was on the laptop placed there, half open on the table. For a moment it looked like a whale, floating motionless with its mouth open, just waiting for the plankton. The sudden horn of a semi-trailer shook Mark from his stupor. The truck that zoomed past him like a rocket reminded him that he was on the highway. Deep in thought, he was only driving at 45 miles per hour. He pressed the gas pedal and remained vigilant. He felt as though he was caught in a dream and was trying to wake up. Mark pulled over in an empty parking space. He drank splashed water on his face and reached his hand toward the box containing his laptop. He slowly returned to his dream. He remembered a smile, a wild smile, stretching on the salesperson's sweaty round face. Mark thought it looked fake, and it was obvious that the salesperson himself was aware of it, but it still didn't stop him from smiling. Now Mark was reminiscing. As soon as the salesperson turned the computer on, Mark was mesmerized by the flickering blue screen. He stopped staring only as he felt the salesperson grinning at him. The salesperson told Mark that this laptop was the only model of its kind, and he assured him that it was brand new. As per Mark's inquiry, he stated that he only just received it from a company called Suenaba. Mark never heard of them before. He almost immediately forgot how to pronounce the name correctly. It's probably an Asian company, he thought. Oh well, there is a warranty. The computer works fast, and everything is fine. Even the operating system is already installed free of charge. Suddenly, while driving back from the store, he thought about it. If any problems were to arise with the laptop, he would have to drive all the way back to this remote store. On the other hand, Mark really needed a new computer. His current one was already showing signs of extreme wear, and this store happened to be at the right place at the right time. The most peculiar thing was that Mark didn't even know what he wanted to write, if at all. He simply felt the urge to write, and this was something he never felt before. Writing was never a part of his life, especially nowadays, since work was taking up most of his time, and it wasn't even his dream job. Mark worked at a warehouse of a goods company, moving boxes from one place to another, or as he used to call it, moving other people's dreams around. This was not the life he planned for himself, and the credentials that promised him a better life remained hung on the wall along with his dreams. He sometimes felt as though those credentials and titles were looking down on him, reminding him of all the struggles he went through, and how getting them almost left him without any family or friends. Even so, Mark didn't complain. He had a steady job, a girlfriend, and a rented car. These are things that shouldn't be underestimated nowadays. As he kept driving, his vague memory disturbed him. How come he couldn't remember the store? It's as if it was erased from his mind, and he needed to strain his mind to remember. For a moment he felt worried that there was something wrong, but then he was swept away by his renewed excitement. On his way home, Mark encountered a lovely little town called Truth or Consequences, named after a radio show from the 50s. The name did not only amuse Mark, but it even excited him. He decided that this would be the first thing he would write about it in his diary on his new computer. A personal diary. What a wonderful idea. But what does journaling have to do with Mark? Nothing at all. He never managed to write a diary before. Even when he tried, he would always stop after a few lines, and after a day he would forget all about it. Now Mark felt that he had some unique memories and experiences that he wanted to put into writing. Maybe he could even write an ebook and be able to earn a few pennies from it as well. Finally, he parked his car in the garage along with his thoughts and entered his home. He lived in a small white suburban house, but for Mark, home was mostly his office. It was where he spent most of his time, and now it was dark, cool, and inviting. He washed the desert off his face and immediately went to work.